I am here. So let us see who joins me. Let me see if I can get on my mobile app as well. Hey, I see people, pilgrims entering. Now, let me turn this volume off. Sorry guys, I am turning off the volume on my own phone because I just have the phone down here so I can see. Now, here we go. Alrighty, so I have the comments down here so that I can just keep an eye. Now, I'm not going to be able to keep up, but hello. Okay, so as we are filling up in here, just let me know you're here. Say hello and tell us maybe where you are joining from. Seeing all my familiar names here, I can see the pilgrims have joined. Mel, Andrea, Shell, Catherine, Lisa. This is great. Oh, fab. Yeah, so we'll just take a little while to, well, not a little while, we'll just take another minute or so to see, give a chance to everybody to file on in. How exciting is this, huh? We need more of this, don't we? This kind of like just online impromptu sessions where we meet up. This is what I love to do, you know. I do this every Wednesday in my studio here in Sligo. Sligo is on the northwest coast of Ireland. So every Wednesday I have a group of pilgrims who join together to journal, and that's all we do. We gather around a table. We have coffee and we have tea and we have the chats and we journal, and it's a great way to learn. There's no instruction, but we learn from each other just by pure osmosis. So now the comments are flying in here. Hi Patricia. Seattle, woohoo! Hey Jen. Jen, I could be up your way next year, by the way. San Diego, Sharon, how are you? Carolyn. Northern Ireland, Miz, how are you? Miz, Mel, Tricia. And Rebecca, hiya Rebecca, I'm delighted you're here. Andrea, Lisa, Shanita, Jutta. Oh, this is so brilliant. Okay, cool. And Cynthia Collins, how are you doing, Cynthia? I hope you're feeling good. And Celine in Wexford, that's fantastic. We have Montreal in Canada, Isabel. Yvonne Reedy down in Clare. Where are you in Clare, Yvonne? I used to live in Killaloe. Tinley Park, Illinois. Bonnie, we'll have to keep in touch because Illinois is on my radar as well. Lisa, Texas is on my radar. Carolyn, Florida. Oh, God, I could just go on tour for the next 3 years. Ohio. Do you know what? I know lots of pilgrims in Ohio. I have a feeling I'll be there too. I have some friends out there that go back even before my art days. Germany, Denmark. Lynn. Hiya, Lynn Moore. Cynthia, you're feeling better. Thank you. I'm delighted. Hiya, Data. You're in Kefalonia, Data. Excellent. That's in Greece. And Jutta Muller is in Germany. We have Toronto, Ontario. We have Eugene in Oregon. Florida, Connecticut, not far from Boston. Vicky, that's right, yeah. Boston is another place I'm going to. Hiya, Siobhan. Joanne, Wilmington, North Carolina. Sweden, Wisconsin. Yeah, Texas. And one more from Germany. Be good. I'll tell you one thing. There's plenty of us. Excellent. Okay. So it is 3 minutes past. So I think I might just, I'll just give till 5 minutes past for everyone to come in. Norway. Has anybody got anything? Well, has anybody got anything to report? No, I'm delighted that you've all made it over. There was a really great response to the the invitation to gather. Yeah, New Zealand. Wow, cool. Georgia, Pittsburgh, Illinois, Northern Michigan, Madison, Wisconsin. I believe that's beautiful, Beth. I've heard a lot about it. Tracy Doyle down in Scariff with your doty, art-loving 2-year-old godson. Ah, God, that's great, Tracy. I'll be down over Christmas, actually. And hello, Tracy, please, God. Victoria, Australia. Michigan. Hearts to Pit. Sandra, what? I don't really get that, Lisa. Hearts to Pit. Oh, maybe I'm reading it wrong. New Hampshire, New Zealand. France, Germany, Atlanta. This is fantastic. Paula, St. Louis, Epsom in Surrey, Ontario, Canada, Lusk in Dublin. Hey, Melanie. Sandra Marotti, thank you for the prayers. And Belgium, Martina. Hiya, Martine. How are you doing? Germany. Okay, there we go. 5 minutes. So that's good enough time. Now, welcome for a start. And I wanted to do this. I wanted to do something for Samhain anyway. I'm a great lover of the Celtic festivals, and they give me a sense of reverence and ritual, and they give me something around which to focus my intentional thinking. And they kind of prompt a certain. They're beautifully aligned with the rhythm of the year, or maybe it's because it's the Celtic calendar. Maybe it's because Friday here is Celtic. But I feel very aligned with the Celtic calendar, and it always gives me a beautiful kind of an entry into and out of the seasons as they pass. And that's what these festivals are. And the Samhain festival is no different. Samhain is the festival in which the roots of Halloween are. What you know is Halloween Halloween replaced Samhain in quite a brutal fashion, but we won't go there. But just know that Samhain existed before Halloween. And what Samhain is, it is a liminal time. It's the celebration of a liminal time and space that represents the stillness between what has been and what is to become. Liminal spaces are like thresholds, and they are the in-between. So we have harvested from the autumn that it's done, and we have yet to enter into the light of the spring. Samhain comes before the winter solstice, where the turnaround happens, that we head into the lighter end of the year. So in this space, it is very much a space in which there is stillness, and it is a space in which we may explore darkness, letting go, rebirth, and also surrender. And what it is also is it is an opportunity for transformation and for transition as we pass through from one point in time to the next. One point in time and space to the next. Think of it like being on the cusp of something, So physical spaces, you can have liminal spaces can be physical. So I just want to give you some visuals of what a liminal space might be. So if you imagine stairwells are liminal spaces. I was in one actually on Wednesday, and it just has that. A stairwell is not, its only function is to get you from point to point. That's all it functions as. Another idea of a liminal space is, here in Ireland we have a lot of ruins. We have a lot of houses, castles, and just buildings that are no longer occupied, um, and yet are still standing in varying um, stages of ruin. And those spaces would be considered luminal or liminal spaces. Um, they are that in between. Um, Metaphysical liminal spaces would be the point between getting engaged and getting married. You're in that place, that uncertain, temporary, transitional place. You're not single and you're not married, and it's a very special place to be. Um, Coming of age is always a big thing. Like when coming of age movies come out, they always touch us deeply because we've all experienced the coming of age liminal space in which we're no longer children and we're not yet adults. Um, and you could also say at this stage that I imagine I'm in my early 40s. I feel like I'm entering into a liminal space as well. It might be unkindly referred to in the past as a midlife crisis, but what we know now from the progressive recovery community is that it is more a case of it being a midlife solution. So, but anyway, there is that midlife, because I'm not a young one anymore. I'm not a messer, and yet I'm not old either. Um, okay, so I want to just share with you something that one of my very favorite people to read, John O'Donoghue. He was a philosopher, a theologian, and a poet and a writer. Obviously from Ireland here, from Clare actually. And he writes a little bit here about liminal space in his book Anam Cara. And he calls it the mystery of approach. We are in a space, we are about to approach, we're making an approach, and there is the mystery that happens before that approach, before that contact is made with that which we are approaching. So what he says here is that sacred places such as the ruins I spoke of here in Ireland, and those metaphysical, those places within us between major life events, are sacred places, and they are full of presence. And the reason I'm offering you this right now is first of all to get you into the spirit of Samhain, which is what we're celebrating, and also into the idea that your creative practice, your creativity, is also a liminal space. It is a place of possibility, and it is a place of potential, and it is a place in which there can be a lot of discomfort and there can be a lot of overwhelm. And because we are working with a blank page that isn't yet something, and there is that approach, and the mystery of the approach is we have no idea what is about to transpire. And I've always taught, and I always do teach all my students, anyone who comes to my workshops, on or offline, if you learn nothing else from me today other than the approach, as in how to approach your journaling, that will be enough. And the approach is to approach it and your creative practice and your creative process and your creative space as a sacred thing, and something around which you, if you hold it, will give you so much, so much. And what I also always say is that, like, life can be difficult and life can be stressful, and there's an awful lot of, there's a lot of, just a lot of mind out there, and the mind is like nitpicking and judgy and criticism and blah, blah, blah. It's terrifying half the time. But your creative space doesn't have to be like that. And don't contaminate it ever. So as you go into this session, I want you to hold that space for yourself, and to approach, let's approach your creativity and this space as something to be with a sense of reverence, and also just to have fun and to allow whatever is present in this space to unfold. So there is that. I asked for you to bring a little candle or a candle with you and something to light it with. So before we begin, and when I say begin, I mean, before I flip this down onto the page, we're going to go onto our journals now. I just want to give us a little bit of grounding. So just make sure that you're sitting comfortably and that you're breathing into your belly. And imagine yourself gathering warmth and light into your belly. And as you exhale, imagine that light and the warmth moving down through your body and into the earth. And as you relax into your body and lean forward a little bit, just focus on what it feels like to relax, to let go. And we can thank now the emotions and the circumstance, the gathering, for inviting us to let go, to ground and to focus ourselves. And to remember, in this space, we will meet what is alive, what wants to be, what wants to go, and remember to relax and to rejuvenate yourself with calm, focused awareness. And then let's light our candles. Okay, so in case you're wondering what that noise in the background, my dog is thirsty. Okay, so I'm going to place my candle up here in the background. Okay, so let's get down onto our journals. The camera is going down, so you won't be able to see my face anymore. Oh, don't cry. All right, so you can start off. Here's just something that I like to do, right? So if you have a clean page, fine, that's fine. But if I like to use pages that are a little bit kind of wrecked already. Like this is a notebook that isn't necessarily made for mixed media creative journaling. So I like to use pages that maybe I was testing a pen out on here the other night, and there's bleed through. So it's up to you whether or not you want to use a very blank, clean page, or maybe just pick a page that you've already got a few scribbles on or something like that. So now, liminal space, possibility, potential, but also discomfort and overwhelm. And how we deal with discomfort and overwhelm and fear of the blank page is scribbling. So what I want you to do is take your non-dominant hand, take a pencil or a pen, maybe even two pencils and two pens, or three, or whatever you want, into your non-dominant hand. And I just want you to take these pencils for a walk. That's all. Just take your pencil for a walk and close your eyes maybe while you're doing this. You could do it hard, you can do it like, see, you can kind of like drive the pencil in, make sure you're getting some scribbles there. You can do it slow, you can do it fast. With your eyes closed as well, because that will just make sure that you have absolutely no control over what you're doing, because control on the page is your enemy. Okay, now I am just assuming that you're keeping up with me, and I think you might be, because I can see that the comments That stopped. Excellent. Okay. Woohoo! Loads of scribbles. All right. Now, let's do a tiny little bit of writing. Let's just dive in with a little bit of stuff. So I'm going to take out of my pencil case, I'm going to take some markers. I'm going to take, how many colors? I don't know how many colors. Maybe, yeah. I'm just going to take a few different things. All right. So I want to give you a prompt here. And I'm just going to read you a little thing from John O'Donoghue again, and again from Anam Cara. John O'Donoghue, going back to the idea of runes. Runes. He says that beauty loves neglected places. Only in solitude can you discover a sense of your own beauty. When you're on your own, or when you wake in the middle of the night, the real knowing within you can surface. You come to feel the secret equilibrium of your soul. When you travel the inner distance and reach the divine, the outer distance vanishes. There's a wonderful welcome within. So I want to ask you now, when you think about this as your liminal space, the threshold between one space in time and another. And I want you to think of the question. Here is the question that we're going to reflect on. The question is, what have you been waiting for? And so with your first marker, I want you to write what that might be. And have a look at how I'm writing here. This is not like you're going to sit down and be all neat and tidy writing. I want you to scribble this out like as if, like, because we're not going to read this, so it doesn't have to be legible. So I want you to scribble this out as if you're just like, I don't know, that like as if your arm is made of jelly or something like that. So the question is, what have I been waiting for? And I want for you to maybe answer this from your mind. What does your mind, how does your mind answer that question? So what have I, you can write the question down if you want. What have I been waiting for? And you can say, I'm not writing in a way that makes sense. I'm really just getting my hand moving across the page. So I've written the question down, and now I'm going to answer it. What have I been waiting for? Okay, mind, tell me, what have I been waiting for? Okay, one sentence will do. Your mind has an idea about what it is you have been waiting for. Now, let's tap into the heart space. And your heart space is, your heart speaks in emotions. So maybe when we're asking the heart, what have you been waiting for? We could reframe that question to say to the heart, what has it felt like to be waiting? What does it feel like to wait? And you can see that I am not making sense, or we are scribbling our answers, okay? All right, that's the heart. Let us ask our bodies. Hey, body, let's check into our bodies. These houses we live in that we so rarely actually consult. We're just so busy trying to shape the thing and move it around the place, like that we don't really take the time to listen to what it has to say. So let's ask our bodies. Hey, body, what have you been waiting for? You don't have to answer these questions perfectly, okay? Just have a general idea. And if nothing is coming, just write nothing. Okay. Now we're going to tap into the part that knows. Soul. What does the soul know about what we are waiting for? So let's let the soul answer this. What does it know? What does it know about this waiting? Okay. Right. So as we go through this, I just want you to make sure that you are, you know, go lightly here. You know, don't think like you have to have any sort of major breakthroughs or anything like that. We're just playing around. We're just pondering. That's all we're doing. So don't, all you writers out there, don't be tempted to be writing essays. You know, the whole point of this is the questions don't have to be answered right now. It's the act of asking is what's important. Okay, now next step. I want to teach you a technique that is that can be your best friend, right? So what it is a bit of white paint. I like to use this. What is it? Winsor and Newton. It's a heavy body white paint. Gesso will do either. And get yourself a dry brush and no water, obviously, dry brush, dry. And dip your brush into the white paint. And I'm talking minimum paint on your brush, minimum. You can always add more, but minimum, less is more. And then go into your page and just start to dry brush over the marker in places. So you see the way I'm just doing a little blob area there. Another one here. And another one here. So you want less is more on the brush because how you want this to feel. Now, see how I'm doing this, right? So flat and drag, and then go over onto the other side, flat and drag. So it's almost like, do you remember the Karate Kid, the original? Wax on, wax off. It's like it's the painting of the fence. Yeah, that's what we're doing here. But how you want this to feel is that when the paint first goes on the page, it's kind of silky, but you want to dry it. You want to blend it in or brush it in to the page until the brush starts to drag a little bit, until it starts to feel a bit draggy. So that is dry brushing, and the benefits of this are a few. I'll explain to you. Let me just give you the instructions first. So we're going to cover not the whole page in its entirety, but you're just going to work around the page, pushing it back in places. Okay? And you can work on varying the level of opacity on the different patches. Okay? Nice and sloppy, nice and messy. And what you're doing here is, so the benefits of using this, first of all, it means, because we have just scribbled all over this page, so we've kind of like, we've taken up a lot of space, right? We have filled the space that we have with a lot of information, and it makes it a little bit hard to figure out where to go from here. We made a quiet space busy. Now, if that's not a metaphor for life, I don't know what is. I'm Perla You looked away. Was that paint or gesso? This is, I'm using an acrylic heavy body white paint, but you can use, just as long as you have white paint or gesso, that's what you can use. So yeah, if it's not a metaphor for life, I don't know what is. Approaching this sacred space and filling it with all our busyness, you know, that's what we do. That's how we're wired. So white paint is great for creating space again. So that's what we're doing. We're quietening it all down. And we're pushing into the background all this noise. Okay. All the noise going into the background. And also what we're doing here, by practicing the dry brush technique, this is going to allow us to create together today without having to dry the pages, you know. Sometimes all that wet media, I don't like for my process to be interrupted by boring practicalities like having to dry the page. So you can see how I'm approaching this. I'm just kind of wildly and kind of randomly going over the whole page with the white. And as you're doing this, because I'm in your ear now, so you don't really have much peace, but if you were doing this by yourself, let's say you have journaled into your journal, but you have kind of taken prompts and you've asked an inquiry question, you know, you've done some self-inquiry in the background. This is the part where you could kind of like just process a little bit, maybe what you wrote down. Because sometimes the only thing standing between us and the answers we're looking for is the right question. That's all, you know. Okay. Yvonne, you're loving this? Me too. I am too. I could do this all day. Okay. So make sure that you practice this dry brush technique. It's really, really handy. There's I'm going to show you my page now as well. The other thing it does is it gives texture too. Trying to show you the page. I don't know how clear it's going to be on a Facebook Live, but I'm not losing any of the visual information, if you can see. But I still am getting, I have lots of space now. I have loads of places to go. So I haven't, what would you say? I haven't elbowed myself out of the room. We're still in our our lovely space. How many times have you done that? You know, that where you need to take a time out and think about something, and then you just put pressure on yourself. You're just like, no, you need to answer this now. I do it all the time. Okay, so there's that. Now, God bless white paint. Okay, what I have here is, hold on now. So what I have here now is the Nancy Antolitis. Okay. We have some tissue paper, and I have just that, just the scraps of paper. So I'm going to pick some paper to add. We're going to just add one little bit of collage on here. So let me just interview the different pieces of paper. And this is what you do. You just put them on the page and see what calls you. This is just in case you're wondering, am I still here? I am. Just this is kind of like trying to chew chewing gum and walk at the same time. You know that trick? I can't really do that. I'm concentrating. Oh, Flip, I'm seeing the comments here that you're having difficulty with the stream. It's good on my end, although that's because I'm looking at the recording. I don't know. Oh, I'm sorry about that, guys. Well, if you can still follow my instructions, there isn't too much detail that you're going to have to see. You know, that kind of a way. You're not going to miss anything because I'm not busting out any super tricks or anything like that, or any really complicated moves. It's literally, it's pretty basic. So if that helps at all. So what I'm doing now is I'm just auditioning these pieces of paper. Okay. I think I was liking the black. It is frustrating, Celine, yeah. It's a good picture for me, but it's not for everybody, and but it is for some. So it could be quite possible that maybe it will come and go. But do trust yourself that you can follow along. I know you can. So what I'm doing here is I'm scrunching up the paper because it was a little bit too perfect. Yeah. All right. So I have a little bit of I have some scraps of paper here that I'm just going to glue down to the page. Now, by glue, you can use matte medium, you can use Pritt stick. Pritt stick is glue stick. Or you can do this with paint. Anybody who doesn't have glue of any sort with them, you can collage this random piece of paper down with just put some paint on the side you want to stick down and just randomly glue it onto the page. And you can do that with maybe a few. I'm going to do a few random pieces of paper. This reminds me of being at the market. This is what I used to do at the market. So I would bring my journal with me and I would just do a little bit of random journaling. Siobhan is saying, oh, Tree is saying, I think the comment stream is impacting the video quality. Every time there's an abundance of comments, the video has to reload on your end. And Siobhan, you said, turn it off and turn it on again. And that worked. Okay, so maybe we'll just stop commenting for the moment. That's a good observation. Thank you. Stop commenting and we'll see if that improves anything. The video, I have my phone to the side here and the video is good on my end. Right, so I'm just putting a few random pieces of collage in my journal here, and I'm not really too concerned with where or why or how. So, and if you find yourself a little bit like getting fussy and over concerned about this, what I would say to you is just like literally tear pieces of paper and drop them on the page without looking and just glue it down where it falls. Oh yeah, I like the black. Where am I going to put it though? Yeah, it needed to be smaller. Okay, so you see what I'm doing here. I'm playing around with pieces of paper and I'm making intuitively based decisions on what size I want and where. Okay. Right, so that is the little collage bit done there. You can always add more at the end. Like we're not chasing a finished product here, by the way. And I definitely am not reverse engineering anything here. I don't do that. I never ever do that. I wouldn't be able. Like that would just drive me insane. Okay, now I asked you to bring some images. This is the image that I have. I have a few, I think. Yeah, I have two ladies. And I'm going to put these ladies. Will I put one of them or will I put, who will I put in here? Oh yeah, I might put the two of them in here. Okay, so I have my carbon paper. A lot of people write themselves off in the journal. They say to me, that's why I don't call what I do art journaling. I don't like to use the word art because there are so many people for whom the word art is an immediate disqualifier. They say, oh, I couldn't draw a straight line. And I say to them, well, that's what rulers are for, but who wants straight lines, yeah? Okay, so we're going to just put our lady down, or your gentleman, or whoever you have chosen. I mean, it doesn't even have to be a person. I mean, take creative license here and put down a horse if you want. But I've chosen a spot on the page that I want her to be, and I have the carbon paper down. That's the right way, right side down. And I'm going to trace quite roughly this woman's portrait. So, hi Eva. So I'm just improvising here now on her head, and in case anybody is wondering what I'm doing, if you can't see or anything, I'm just tracing. So pick a point on your page that you're going to put the image down and trace it onto your page with the carbon paper. And that's what I'm doing right now. And you're just going to trace the features roughly. We don't need for this to be perfect. And I think sometimes it's more interesting when you do it a little bit, when you do the tracing a little bit rough. So I'm watching. What is the solution? If you have no tracing paper, Jutta, what I would say to you is just stick your image down as it is what I would say to you. That's a good question. Thank you. So just take your image and glue it down onto the page somewhere if you have no tracing paper. And if you have no carbon paper or whatever, I would suggest that everybody try carbon paper at some point. It's a lot of fun. Just makes Makes things possible. Now I think I have all her features traced. Okay, Rita, I'm so sorry. I don't know. All I know is that copy yours, Mel. That's great. All I know is that there's a lot of people on the feed, Rita, and I don't know if that impacts it. I've never done this before. I've never done a live feed session before, so this is all new. So I am holding this up to the camera with the event, hopefully that you can see. And what I might, could I take a screenshot? Let me see. I might take a photograph with my camera while I'm here so that I can post this into the group after. How about that? So that you'll be able to see the image as. So just bear with me while I take a photograph. Okay. I'm improvising now, guys. I'm aware that you mightn't be able to see what I'm doing. So there will be a photograph to follow, but just follow my verbal instructions. We're here to gather and be together, and it's very likely that this is a good thing, because it leaves you a little bit on your own to figure this out, which is the whole point of my teaching, is to embolden you to trust yourself. And I know you can figure this out. Sandra is offering that you just scribble with a pencil on the back of a paper. Yes, so cover the back of this paper with graphite or pencil or whatever, and then when you put that over, you can trace that, and the graphite will transfer. Thank you, Sandra. That's an excellent. And Vicky offered that as well. So yeah, there are many ways to do this. Okay, so I have my lady here, and I like her kind of ghostly appearance, and I think it's quite apt for what we are celebrating here in Samhain. So I'm just going to give her a little bit of what do you call it? Definition. Sometimes I lose my words. I'm just going to get a pen, and sometimes the old Bic, the Bic Biro, you can't beat it. I might just give her a bit of definition, but she doesn't actually need much. I really like her, how faint she is there. Okay, now I am going to take some color, so just a little bit of paint. Let me see what though. Maybe some orange. I was in Santiago a few weeks ago, and I had never been to a Dick Blick's art supply store before, and my good friend Erin brought me there, and oh my God, I have never seen so many golden. I just get these small little bottles. They last me forever. As you can see, I don't use much paint. Okay, so I am now, I'm going to do the dry brushing again. I am taking this orange and I'm going to dilute it down. I'm just playing around to see, it's a little bit too orange for me. So I'm just going to play around with the shade or the tint, whatever the shade of it. So I'm diluting the orange with some white paint. And I am very, very loosely and sloppily just going to negative shape paint around Our Lady here. Right? So I'm doing it up to the camera, so hopefully you can see. And I'm going to put a little bit of, you could either use a little bit of black here or a little bit of, I'm using a little bit of Payne's grey as well. See what happens. I mean, I'm doing this upside down now. I'm not even looking at what I'm doing, which is, you know, I mean, if you want to get out of your own way, do that. Okay. So now I'm being really sloppy, and I'm just about to do one of my favorite things to do. If you can see, I am just throwing water at the page. So I've just put a big blob of paint in a very wet paintbrush, and I have allowed it to dribble down the page. And I'm going to do the same over here. Okay. Now, I'm painting upside down now so that you can see the page. Right? Alrighty, so what we have now is quite a rough and raw and loose and free. That orange was actually really nice. I like it. I'm going to put some more on there. So it's just, what colour is that? Pyrrole orange, is that how you pronounce it? I don't know. I love how my dog gets thirsty every time I'm on a call. He's like, goes over and slaps up the water. I'm going to put more of that orange over here. I just like it. It's cool. And as you can see, very messy. I'm not interested in doing all these detail kind of. And I like art in a hurry. Art that feels like an emergency. Okay. And really now what we're down to is, because your page might be a little bit wet now at this stage. I have 2 wet blobs here. But what you're down to now is that you can kind of embellish your lady here if you want. So I might give her, what will I give her? She has a nice color, a collar there. Let's sort out this. Yeah, I see your comment there, Yvonne. Sorry, this could, you know, the way you learn something every time. I mean, this session might teach me to never do live streams again. It's a pity. Like I said, I've never done one with so many people on, so I don't know. Does that affect the quality? I really don't know. It shouldn't do. I mean, that's what Facebook is for, isn't it? Yeah, maybe a bit of red. I always find an excuse to put red in there. So I'm just going to paint her, giving her a little bit of a red lip and a red collar. So I'm just embellishing her a little bit, but not too much. And I'm doing it kind of like rough and without too much fuss. Okay. So, Yvonne, the quality is perfect for you. That's great. Excellent. Facebook, a bunch of messers, aren't they? Okay. So this is what we have now. And that is something you can go into and you can mess around with that if you want. I tend not to fuss too much. I mean, I've even spent longer on that page than I normally would on a page. I wouldn't actually, because the longer you're at it, the more you're just going to start floating around with it, and then you'll annoy yourself because you'll be like, So, yay, stream is better now at the end, for God's sake. Not desperate. But anyway, I took a photograph of the bit that kind of went wonky there. So we're good. We're good. We're going to be fine. We're going to be fine. Right. So this is it, right? This is our this is really our spread. And I have one more question to ask you because we're nearly done. Would you believe that? Would you believe it's almost been an hour? Right. So what is my question? My question is, we started out asking, what have you been waiting for? And there's a thing about waiting. There are types, two different types of waiting. There's the type of waiting that is passive, that you're kind of like waiting as if the thing you're waiting to happen has to happen before you will take action. And then there is the kind of waiting that is called active waiting. And that's the kind of waiting that knows it's waiting and trusts in the waiting period and is happily preparing for the next thing. So I just wanted to offer you that as a thought. To focus your mind on happily waiting for the next thing. I mean, if your next thing, if what you've been waiting for is to feel free in your art, let's say, for example, just trust that the waiting period you are in right now, until you feel that way, because it's a feeling, and you're never going to get, it's never going to be a definite. But until you can feel free and comfortable and confident in your art, what are you going to do between now and then? What kind of action are you going to take between now and then to prepare yourself? It's always something we can do. So, what is your intention? What is your intention? I'm scribbling over my page now, as you can see, because I'm sitting here looking at it. And, okay, so more scribbles. Okay, so what is your intention? Let's just write really boldly in here. What is my intention? My intention is to, what? My intention is, let me think about this, because I was actually, I did have something going on here. My intention is stay. And I'm going to write that in a little bit bold here. I'm going to get big. I like to invite you to be bold. That's what I'm going to be. Be bold. My intention is to stay. Somebody said to me today, stay until you cannot stay anymore. And that's what I'm going to do. And I can play around with this here, this word, and just, I might put some white pen in there or something like that. But for now, I just felt like doing a big messy stay in there. Because why not? Okay. So there you are. I'm going to flip the camera up again. Yeah, that wasn't black. I forgot my black. Alrighty. So as you can see, I don't treat my pages too preciously. I would call that, I would probably go at that again, but for now, I'm happy to turn the page. And I like to turn the page anyway on a piece because it's not necessary to chase it down until it's done. But you can add a few little details. Like when I come back to this, I can already tell I'm going to come back to this, and I can see where I can go with that. But for now, For now, I'm just going to let it be what it is. Okay, now that is what I wanted to share with you. It's a kind of it's just a taster of how I approach journaling. It's a taster of the kind of process that I am always trying to impart, and process being the operative word there, because it's like, if I just don't placing too many demands. If you may or may not have read the blog post that I wrote for the Artist Magic blog last week about placing demands on your creativity. And nothing will kill your creativity as much as you placing demands on it and scolding it for not living up to those demands. And I don't want you to ever do that to your creativity or to yourself. Care Wood, your word is work, as in work in the process. I love that. Yeah, share your words. If you have some words that you decided, what is your, if you chose an intention, just share it in the comments there. I'll read it out. I find sitting down to journal and actually asking the question and writing down the answers, you saw how quick and sloppy that was, can work. Okay. So your intention that is how you are going to meet that space, the liminal space that is your creativity. And I hope that you have a lovely evening. I hope that you will, I know that a lot of you are joining me for the Raw program, which starts on Monday. So you only have a few days left to register. We'll be doing 4 weeks of journaling throughout the process, and it's I obviously pull the process apart so that you can understand every single element of it, and I deliver it as elements that break a process down so that we are working only ever on the elements, and because of that, art is made. So that is yeah, that's happening in Raw starting Monday, 4 weeks online. Okay, let me read out a few of your comments here. Okay. Thank you all for your lovely comments. Thank you. So, Cara, your word is work. Carol, you're welcome. You're welcome, LJ. Be present, Megan. I like it. Jutta is saying bold. That's a good one. Celine, thank you, darling. I can't wait for Raw Online to start as well. I hope the people here will be joining us. I know a lot of us are. Your intention is to see, Robin. That's a really good one. I like that. Yeah. Thanks, Megan. Suze, oh, you enjoyed it. Your intention is to follow your heart. That you can't go wrong there. Carolina, Kathy, focus. Carolyn Ryan, thank you. Permission is your word, Karen. Delighted. You're welcome, Lynn and Kathy. You're welcome. Look at me reading all your comments here on the side. Thank you, Lisa and Yvonne. This was amazing, and your words are inspiring. Thanks, Yvonne, and I mean them. My creativity has changed my life. Tending to my creative self has changed my life in more ways than I can ever explain. Change, Sandra. That's a good one. Peggy, thank you. You rock too. Virginia, Frida, thank you. You're all very welcome. Stop waiting and start doing, Melanie McInerney. That's great. Patricia, your word is trust. Patricia, how did Rebecca get on? Did she pick a word? Excellent. Okay. So that's it, folks. I'm sorry that the feed got a little bit wonky, but I will post the image that I took there of the journal page in its before, just when I did the tracing. And that's where it stands now. And I'll probably play around with it a little bit more, and I'll post that as well if I do. Patricia, boo. That's good enough. All right. See you soon. Bye.